From egg to table, a journey of raising chickens for meat. A detailed blog about raising chickens for meat, covering the full process from egg incubation, chick care, broiler feeding, farm management, disease prevention, to chicken growth and harvest. Perfect for beginners in poultry farming and small-scale chicken production. One early morning, when the sunlight had not yet slipped through the leaves in the yard, I stood quietly in front of a small row of chicken coops behind my house. The soft, chirp chirp sounds coming from the incubator filled me with a strange sense of anticipation. That was the moment I truly began my journey of raising chickens for meat, a journey that sounds simple, but is actually full of small stories, lessons, and emotions. Starting with tiny eggs. Raising chickens doesn't begin with chickens, it begins with eggs. At first glance, all eggs look the same, but in reality, each one carries a different destiny. Some will hatch into strong, healthy chicks, while others may never develop. At the beginning, I thought all I had to do was buy eggs and wait. But no, choosing the right eggs is an art. The eggs should be uniform, not too big or too small, clean, and free of cracks. I learned that good eggs usually come from healthy parent chickens with a clear origin. After selecting the eggs, I placed them into the incubator. That's when things became more interesting. The incubator must maintain a stable temperature of around 37.5 degrees Celsius. And humidity must also be carefully controlled. It sounds simple, but even a small deviation can significantly reduce the hatching rate. During those days, I checked the incubator every few hours, as if I were caring for something incredibly fragile. Then, around day 19 to 21, something magical happened. The moment chicks are born. I still clearly remember the first time I saw an egg crack. A small line appeared, then slowly widened. From inside, a tiny chick struggled to break free and enter the world. That moment was truly special. Newly hatched chicks are not as perfect as we might imagine. Their feathers are wet and stuck together, and their bodies are weak. But after just a few hours, they become fluffy and incredibly adorable. Their constant, chirping sounds feel like a cheerful little symphony. However, this is also the most challenging stage. Chicks are extremely fragile and can easily die if not properly cared for. Caring for chicks, the challenging early days. Chicks need warmth. I used a heat lamp to keep the temperature around 32 to 35 degrees Celsius during the first week. If they were cold, they would huddle together. If too hot, they would spread out. By observing their behavior, I gradually learned how to adjust the temperature. Their diet is equally important. In the first days, I fed them specialized starter feed that is easy to digest. Clean water must always be available and replaced frequently. It sounds basic, but any negligence can lead to illness. Once, I forgot to change the water, and a few chicks became weak. That experience taught me a lesson I will never forget. Raising chickens is not just about feeding them, it's about constant observation and care. The growing stage, when things fall into place. After about 2 to 3 weeks, the chicks become stronger, their feathers fully develop, they move around more, and their appetite increases. At this stage, I started to feel a bit relieved. I moved them into a larger co-op with more space to roam. The co-op needed to be clean, dry, well ventilated but free from drafts. I also began focusing more on disease prevention, vaccinations, hygiene, and proper feed management. Their diet changed as well. Growing chickens need more nutrients to develop quickly. I combined commercial feed with natural foods like vegetables and rice bran. Interestingly, each flock seemed to have its own personality. Some were very active, while others were calmer. Watching them every day felt like following a small, living story. Problems that cannot be avoided. Raising chickens is not always smooth. There were days when I opened the coop and found a few lying still, something no one wants to see. Disease is part of the process. Chickens can suffer from diarrhea, respiratory issues, or infectious diseases. At first I panicked, but over time, I learned how to recognize early signs and respond quickly. Once, an entire flock showed mild illness. I had to stay up late, preparing medicine and monitoring each bird. It was exhausting, but seeing them recover made it all worthwhile. Adult chickens, the result of the journey. After about 2 to 3 months, depending on the breed, the chickens reach a weight suitable for sale. Looking at them now, the transformation is clear, from fragile chicks to strong, full-grown birds. This is when farmers begin to harvest the results of their efforts. But to be honest, it also brings mixed emotions. After all, I had spent every day caring for them, feeding, cleaning, observing every small change. Raising chickens for meat may sound purely economic, but for me, it became a meaningful experience. Lessons learned from the journey. After several flocks, I realized something important. Raising chickens is not difficult, but doing it well is not easy. Patience is essential. Nothing can be rushed. Observation is key. Chickens cannot speak, but their behavior tells a lot. Prevention is more important than treatment. And finally, raising chickens is like tending a garden. It requires consistent daily care.